We ready? Good afternoon. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. I would like to call the July 27th, 2021 regular school board meeting to order. Before we begin our meeting today, I would like to ask for a moment of silence to honor Dr. Damian Moses, principal of Bach Academy South in Lake Wales, who passed away last week. Dr. Moses was a pillar in our education community, and he leaves behind his wife Melissa, son Damian, and daughter Karen. Please keep the Moses family in your prayers. Now please join me in a moment of silence. Thank you so much. Now I would like to ask Mr. Lynn Wilson to give our invocation. If you would all please stand for the invocation and remain standing for our Pledge of Allegiance. Mr. Wilson?
Let's pray, please. God in heaven, again we come to you with thankfulness in our hearts for the many wonderful blessings you've bestowed upon us. We are thankful for the opportunity to assemble here this evening, and we pray that you might be with us this evening. We pray for the Moses family. We pray for Superintendent, our new Superintendent Hyde. We pray that you might guide him as he leads our school district. We pray your hand on this meeting this evening. You will guide our discussions and our decisions. We offer this prayer on behalf of our school district, and I offer this prayer in Jesus' name. Amen.
Thank you so much, Mr. Wilson. And now I'd like to ask Dr. William Allen to lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, and you may be seated. And now we come to a very special part of our meeting tonight. It is with great pleasure that I let everyone know that Superintendent Hyde is going to be taking his oath of office tonight with his family. Superintendent Hyde, would you please bring your family in? Superintendent Hyde has with him. I will wait till they come out. Superintendent Hyde is joined by his wife, Patty, his son, Freddie, and his mom, Mrs. Chester, who will be joining him for his swearing-in ceremony. And I'd like to ask the Honorable Chief Judge, Ellen Masters, who will be administering his oath of office.
Superintendent Hyde, raise your right hand, repeat after me. I, Frederick R. Hyde,
I, Frederick R. Hyde,
do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will support, protect, and defend
that I will support, defend, and protect
the Constitution and government
the Constitution and government
of the United States and of the state of Florida,
of the United States and of the state of Florida,
that I am duly qualified
that I am duly qualified
to hold office under the Constitution of the state,
to hold office under the Constitution of the state,
and that I will well and faithfully perform
and that I will well and faithfully perform
the duties of Superintendent of Schools,
the duties of Superintendent of Schools,
on which now I am about to enter.
on which now I am about to enter.
So help me God.
So help me God.
Congratulations.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Let's take some photos. Yes, please. Go ahead, everybody. Yeah, the whole family. There we go. Oh. Awesome. Congratulations.
Good luck to you.
Superintendent Hyde, we're so excited to have you on board. Yay. Woo. And thank you, Mrs. Hyde, Freddie, and Mrs. Chester for joining us today. It's been a pleasure getting to know you, and we appreciate everyone moving to Florida to allow Superintendent Hyde to take us to the next level. So we thank you so much.
Thank you guys for having us. We're excited to be here.
Awesome.
Exactly. You hired the wrong person.
Okay, so our first item today, board members, is to accept the agenda. Superintendent Hyde, are there any revisions to the agenda as printed?
Madam Chair, member of the board, yes, there are several revisions. Item D3, approval of minutes, we added minutes. Under item G1, consent agenda board items, we added an item. Under H2, consent agenda business services, there was a revised attachment. Under K6, consent agenda human resources, a revised attachment. K7, consent agenda human resources, a revised attachment. S2, administrative legal report, we added an item. And under Q2, public hearing, we revised an attachment.
Thank you, Superintendent Hyde. The chair will now entertain a motion to approve the agenda for July 27th, 2021, with the noted revisions. Do I have a motion and a second?
So moved. Second.
Is there any discussion? Seeing none, I'd like to call for a vote. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye. Aye. All those opposed, nay. Motion carries unanimously. The next item this evening is our special recognitions. Superintendent Hyde, would you lead us through our special recognitions today?
At this time, I'd like to ask School Board Member Lisa Miller to step down for special recognitions.
Good evening.
Good evening.
evening.
Welcome.
My name is Nancy Puri. I'm the Senior Coordinator of Visual Arts for Polk County Schools. I know most of you very well. And it is my pleasure to introduce to you Joe Tedder, our tax collector, we are in our 15th year of Kids Tag Art here. And he is the creator of the statewide program right now. And they have, at this point, put over $1 million, I think it's closer to 1.5 million, into visual arts programs throughout the state, and has put, I think, over $500,000 into Polk County schools. This money goes directly to the art teachers to spend on supplies, but also is undesignated funds, so it helps with their training and with many other things like that. And so we're very grateful. I always like to say it's the best business partnership in the state. And so without further ado, Joe Tedder.
Thank you, Nancy. I'd like to start off by congratulating Superintendent Hyde. Welcome to Polk County. We had the chance to meet the other night at a chamber function, and I welcomed you at that time, and we're here to help you in any way we can. But I must tell you, I'll be sending you a tax bill in November, and you need to make sure you pay it. So don't forget that. But it's my pleasure. I also wanted to take a moment that I have to thank the school board. It has been a very, very trying year and a half. And I know you've had to make some really, really tough decisions. And I know there's endless hours of mental thinking about this, praying about it, trying to gather facts, and then trying to make the best decision you can for our kids and our teachers and our parents. And I know that's very hard. I know when I had the opportunity to serve in the Florida legislature, prior to that, I would watch news. And I would sit there and I would have the answer to every single problem. Everything that came up, though, this is what you ought to do, this is what you ought to do. But when you're actually in the position of voting yes or no on these issues, it becomes much more complicated, and it's harder to find that right answer. So I just, as a parent, And as a community individual and someone that's lived in Polk County my whole life, thank you for your service and your leadership during these tough times. But I'm here today, as I have the opportunity to do every single year, and introduce you to the Kids Tag Art. Superintendent Hyde, this is a program, as Nancy said, has been around for over 15 years. And it started from actually the students. The tax collector's office staff would be asked to go and participate in the Great American Teach-In. And if you can imagine me as a tax collector leaving my office to go speak to a bunch of third graders about the tax collector's office, you're racking your brain, what in the world am I going to tell these third graders that is interesting about our office? So what I would do is I would grab all these specialty tags, and I would take them, and so I'd spend my 30 minutes going, what's this tag? Oh, it's a manatee tag. Guess where that money goes? What's this tag? What's this tag? So that allowed me to do my Great American Teach-In. But the neat thing is a few weeks later, I would receive letters from these kids thanking me for coming to their class. And they would draw their own tag as a way to express their thanks. And we sat around the office and we said, wouldn't it be neat if we could take what these kids are teaching us about using art as an expression and actually try to use that into the art program and have kids design their own tags and then sell these tags and let all those proceeds go back to the art classroom teachers. And that's how this program started. And as Nancy said, it is now just finishing the 15th year. Over $500,000 has been raised and put back into the Polk County art classroom teachers. And it became such a neat program that other tax collectors started stealing it from us. And now there are several tax collectors across the state to do this program, and we've passed $1.5 million that have been raised for the elementary art program through the Kids Tag Art. So this time every year, we come and talk to you about the program, and to let you know that every single classroom, art classroom this year, will receive $525. In addition to any proceeds they have in the sales. It was important for us that every school that participated got a base amount of money, because obviously some areas of our community, because of socioeconomic challenges, maybe can't sell as many tags as everyone else. So we wanted every single art teacher to get a base amount that they could use in their classroom, then on top of that, anything that they sell. So it has been a wonderful program. We're here to do one new thing for you. We wanted to present to Superintendent Hyde a little coin that we give all the students that are our top winners. And we thought, like, golly, why aren't we doing this to the rest of the school board? So this year, we have a little coin for each one of you. And next year, we'll give you a little box that you can start collecting these coins. And ultimately, you'll have a box full of all these coins for all the different years that we've done this. And then second thing is we always present to the district that has the most sales with an award. And last year, I believe it was Sarah Beth Reynolds had it. And Sarah, you're not the winner anymore. This year, the winner is Lynn Wilson, his district, for the most sales of the Kids Tag Art. So,
I hear I was very close.
Lynn, you get the little plaque. And
I thought it was a traveling trophy.
I hear I was
as,
very close, Lynn. I'm coming for you
I
next year.
think this is the time we take some sort of a picture with the check, but as we're preparing for that, Margaret Alfaro, Margarita Alfaro, Brandy Haney from my office are the ones that volunteer their personal time to help administer this program. It would not be possible without you, our wonderful sponsors, our main sponsor, Southern Homes, who gives $25,000 a year to this program, and many other sponsors, as well as the support of you, the school board, the superintendent's office, and especially Beth and Nancy for their great support. So we appreciate everybody so much for their support, and thank you for your time today. And if I'm not sure, Madam Chair, how we do this. If
y'all all stand right there, and then our photographer will tell you.
Okay.
Yes, he will tell you where to stand. And did you mention what the check amount is for this year?
That's
Yes,
impressive.
the check amount is for $40,779. That is for, thank you. That is for the public school system, but we also let the private schools and charter schools participate in this as well. So overall, I think it was about $46,000.
Wow, terrific. Thank you so much. Squished together, yeah.
So while they take their photo, board
Yes.
members, I will be registering 3 vehicles and a boat trailer. So my 3 tags are up for grabs. Just saying, my 4 tags are up for grabs, whoever wants.
Talk after the meeting.
Okay.
Yeah, really.
My District 3, I believe. Right here you go.
I do think he's living in District 1, right?
Thank you,
Thank
sir,
you, sir.
so much.
Amazing program.
We
Thank
appreciate
you
your
so much.
support as always. Thank you.
That's fantastic. At this time, I'd like to ask Jeanette Crowley, Senior Coordinator of Public Relations and Strategic Partnerships, to come forward for the United Way campaign recognition.
Are you ready for me? Yeah. Ready? Okay.
Yes, of course.
Thank you. We have quite a large group, but I'll go ahead and get started. I am Jeanette Crowley, Senior Coordinator of Strategic Partnerships. Also serve as the District Campaign Coordinator for United Way of Central Florida for our district campaign. With me, I have Christina Kreiser-Jackson, President and CEO of United Way of Central Florida, as well as Jess Garcia, our Resource Development Manager from United Way of Central Florida. United Way of Central Florida believes that every child should be given the opportunity to meet his or her potential in school and in life, that everyone should have a fighting chance to support themselves and their families, and that no one can do their best at work or school if they are hungry, sick, or in pain. Working with its partner agencies, United Way identifies problems within our community, raises the funding, and develops the solutions to solve those problems. United Way of Central Florida fights for the health, education, and financial stability of every individual in Polk County. They invest in teacher training, parent education, and early literacy services that improve vocabulary, literacy skills, school readiness scores, as well as tutoring, homework assistance, and mentoring services for at-risk students in grades kindergarten through 12th grade. I'm excited to share our 2020 district-wide campaign results with you as celebrate our schools and department with the highest contributions raised towards last year's campaign. Because of the generous support of our employees, Polk County Public Schools raised almost $60,000 last year, with 65 schools and 12 departments participating. Polk County Public Schools is a top supporter and contributor of among more than 500 companies, and we rank number 13 in total giving. As I call your school or department, please come forward and say a few words and receive your certificate and gifts from United Way. In our elementary school category, we have Spessard L. Holland Elementary, who raised $3,960, and I will say, this is the largest amount raised by any school or department, and it's always a battle for the top spot of the elementary, and so I want to say congratulations again to you and remaining the top spot. So come forward, please.
It is a true team effort at Spessard L. Holland Elementary, and I would like to thank Miss Casey Willis, who chaired United Way for us this year, and we have a dynamic or a terrific trio. 2 members are out in the audience who supported United Way, Mr. Louis Rios and Craig Hilgenberg, who I lost in December, to Dixieland as an AP. So congratulations to Spessard Holland and to the children of Polk County with the givings of United Way.
Thank you.
In our middle school category, we have Kathleen Middle, who raised $2,094 in their campaign, and remaining in that middle school spot again as well. So congratulations to.
I really got to give a shout out to our staff at Kathleen Middle. They always come together and donate each year. Our students do a great job too, and to Miss Gregory for letting us have fun with it each and every year. So thank you.
Thank you.
In our high school category, we have Lake Gibson Senior High, who raised $1,638.
thank you. It's just a pleasure to be here tonight and be recognized for this. This is all about the Lake Gibson High School community that does a wonderful job of just giving and giving and giving over and over. Our staff does an outstanding job, and we raised $1,600. We usually raise about $3,000. One of our big events was canceled because of COVID this year. We're hopefully going to be able to bring that back and stay and remain in this top spot. I would like to thank my United Way liaison, Ms. Diaz, who has done this for 15 years now and talks me into all kind of good, crazy stuff to do for our school. And we'll continue to do that and understands my weird competitive nature that I have to win. So, thank you.
Awesome.
In our combination school category, we have Fort Meade Middle Senior, who raised $2,079.
Yay.
Our teachers, we might be small, but we are mighty, and our teachers definitely take pride in the United Way because they get to see firsthand how our students and our families and our community are affected by that and the benefits that we get with us being such a large economically disadvantaged population. So we want to definitely thank Superintendent Hyde, the board, and United Way for the partnerships that we get to have and the benefits that we get to reap from it. So thank you.
Awesome. Thank you.
For our department who raised the most funds, once again, we have Support Services, who raised $2,262, and 17 cents.
I would just like to thank my family at Support Services for helping me. This is my 4th year now, and we have a lot of fun with United Way, and I couldn't do it without them. And I would like to thank United Way for all they do. I'm always very, like, if anyone comes to me, I'm able to help, with the 211 number, and they've been able to assist them. So I want to thank you for that. And it's weird times we live in, and just thank you for being there and helping the community.
Thank you.
Now I'd like to have Christina Kreiser-Jackson come forward and say a few words.
Good evening. We are so grateful to be here tonight and to recognize some of the celebrations that you all are recognizing as well. I loved it. Just a few minutes ago, the superintendent came in and spoke to a few administrators, and he said behind every great administrator is the great support network of their family. Well, we feel the same way about this family here. Behind every great United Way is a great Polk County public school system and supporters and teachers and educators. You all see it on a regular basis. You meet with the kids, you serve with the kids, you love these kids. And we're just so grateful to be part of that partnership. We talked a lot about the funds that were raised and the money that was raised, but we wanted to share with you a little bit of where that money goes. So in a typical year, United Way of Central Florida serves about 50,000 individuals. This year, of course, as everyone has recognized, has been an interesting year. So over 70,000 individuals were served by our programs. And those are our traditional initiatives. So we have early childhood education, academic achievement, financial stability, health, basic needs, and the community school partnership. I purposely left one out of there because the End Hunger Initiative hit this community like we never expected, and over 200,000 individuals were impacted by those End Hunger drops. Our early childhood education helps with programs that provide services from birth to 6. We have our Success by 6 program. We have our Reading Pals program. And in a typical year, we'd have 14 schools that would be hosting over 200 volunteers to serve over 400 students. In addition to that, we have our Master Teacher program, because we know you all do amazing work and that you lead with your hearts and dedication and strength. But a lot of teachers, before they reach kindergarten, don't know how to teach. They don't know curriculum. So they're helping those preschool students and those child care students learn and to be able to thrive in that environment. I'm so grateful that my daughter gets to go to one of those child care centers that benefits because of the work that you all do in this United Way campaign. And then we have academic achievement. And of course, Girls Inc. is one of those programs, but we have Boys and Girls Club, Boy Scouts, Learning Resource Center, and the list goes on and on. Over 60 partners that provide holistic services for our students in Polk County Public Schools. And then the Crystal Lake Elementary School partnership. This changed, of course, over the past year, but there was food drops, there was bike helmet fitting, there were car seat fitting, and I have to admit, I'm glad my husband's not here today, because when the partnership tested our car seat, we realized that he had made it too strong. Over 20% of the families that showed up for that event did not have their car seats assembled correctly. So while we didn't get to provide the traditional services that we were hoping for this year, they proved they were continuing to serve. We also, in addition to that, have the food drop, as we mentioned, and then we have children that are receiving and adults that are receiving services through the clinics. So beyond that, we just want to say thank you again. Thank you all for the heart and the spirit that you provide to United Way, and thank you for showing your support. We are so grateful for all of you in improving lives and strengthening the community, and we look forward to another fantastic year with the schools. Thank you.
Thank you. Do you want to get a group photo? If we could get everybody to come together so we can get a group photo. Everybody squish in.
Everybody squish. That's really cool.
There we go.
Every year? You're welcome. Fantastic. Great job.
Thank you so much.
Madam Chair, that concludes special recognition for today's meeting.
Thank you, Superintendent Hyde. The next item on our agenda is public comments on agenda items. And I have several who have spoken to speak, who have signed up to speak. But before we do, I would like to ask Mr. Bridges, our attorney, to please review our protocols when it comes to public speakers. Mr. Bridges?
Thank you, Madam Chair. Ladies and gentlemen, as a reminder to all speakers addressing the school board this evening, there will be 2 opportunities for speakers to address the board. At the beginning of the meeting, before any official action is taken on the agenda, for any speakers wishing to address items on the agenda for action, and again at the end of the meeting for any speakers wishing to address matters that are not on the agenda for action. If you wish to speak, please fill out a speaker card available at the entrance. Each speaker shall be allotted 3 minutes to speak. When you're recognized by the chair, please give your name and address. If you're affiliated with a group, you may announce that as well. Please direct all of your comments to the chair and refrain from making personal attacks or using profanity. Ladies and gentlemen, those are the rules. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Mr. Bridges. And the first person I have is Mr. Keith Lightsey. Is Mr. Lightsey here? Regarding the budget. Come forward. Of course, of course.
Keith Lightsey, painter from the C1 Shop, 1625 South Scenic Highway, Frostproof, Florida. Mr. Hyde, new boss man, good to see you. So, I do want to speak on the budget tonight. I listened to a little of the special meeting that we had, or y'all had last week concerning the budget. And the main thing, and I've been saying this ever since I've been coming here, for me tonight, I'm here for me and guys like me, money. It seems like it always has to be money. The budget that was put forth, one of the questions that was asked, and I hope Ms. Fortner don't mind me calling her name tonight, but she asked the question to, and I'm sorry, I don't remember who it was that was sitting here, and her question was steps. How does steps work? You know, because it's been just this big question that I've been here 5 years, and it's been a question that nobody can seem to answer. It's like nobody can ever answer it. When I started, it was 1 year, 3 years, 5 years. I'm trying to make eye contact with all you guys because I feel like I just sit right here and don't look at everybody. But it was 1 year, 3 years, 5 years. I've been here 5 years. I've received one step. I've explained this last time. That step was, all of a sudden it was said it's no longer steps, it's levels. How do I get my money? How do I get the money for the other guys that's in the same position that I am? I feel like we fell in the crevice. I feel like we're in a hole. I'm a painter. When I was brought onto the school board, I was required to do all the tests. I've said this before, paint walls, set up the sprayer, set up the pressure washer, paint doors, paint jams, to prove that I was a painter. I had to take the test to prove that I was a painter. I'm stuck at $38,000. That's my salary. That's public knowledge. I'm not saying anything, but I'm stuck at $38,000. I should be making $42,000. $3,200 a year that I feel that is getting cheated from me. When we go to the job, I'm required to do the same job that the other guys on our crew do. I'm a painter, they're a painter. They're making their money. I don't understand how I can't get mine. There's other people in the same position I'm in. They're stuck where they can't get the money that they should be getting paid. I'm at a stance. I just don't know, and nobody can seem to answer this question tonight. There's so many guys, a custodian guy that and I'm not going to call his name, but I guarantee I hear his name called 15 times a day at the school that we're working on right now. Mr. So-and-so, can you come to the office? Can you come to the office? I asked him, I said, man, do you hear that when you go to bed at night? Y'all are the face. This is the face of the school board. Our new superintendent, our school board, the teachers, the secretary, that's the face. That's who the public wants to see. Y'all are the pretty ones. That's what I say. Y'all are the pretty ones that the public wants to see. We're kind of the backbone. We're the guys that's back there that I can't give the answers, the well-educated answers that the public look for. I can't give that. But what can I do? I'm a hands-on kind of a guy. We got so many in the school where they're hands-on kind of people, and we're stuck. A lot of people said, we're leaving. They said, we're tired of it. We're gone. So I'm here. I say this real quick. I got 20 seconds left before the microphone cuts out. There was a kid that climbed on the roof in a couple of schools we was painting. Man, there was people all over the county from this office, from the sheriffs, the paramedics. Man, I thought, man, if that would work for me, I'd jump right in this floor right now tonight and jump down and make a big scene. I don't think that would work for me. Y'all would probably have me committed. What can we do to get our money? That's what we want. What can we do to get our money? Please help us. Thank y'all.
Thank you, sir. Next, we have Matthew Ager. And then after Mr. Ager, Richard Galloway, if he wants to walk towards the front here. Go ahead, sir.
All right, hi everybody, how you doing? Most of you know me or have heard of me anyway. We'll get to know each other soon. I'm start this off. I'm going to talk about the budget, believe it or not. But I just want to let everybody know some of you are familiar with the Fabulous Five. Mm-hmm. The Fabulous Five is no more. Mm-hmm. We are now the Furious Four. There's only 4
left
countywide repaint painters right now. They say they're going to hire another one, so we'll see. And I'll take that right on to the budget. The way the budget works and the way we don't get paid as employees is that more than likely we're down a painter. We're responsible for soon going to be 173 facilities in repainting. 4 painters, and more than likely, we will not get another painter. We will probably get a custodian or a groundskeeper to move up because they're in the system with seniority that we're going to have to teach how to paint, and chances are they will probably be nearing the age of 60. So the way that affects the budget is you have 173 facilities, roughly. You have 4.5 painters. Last year, we're on a 17-year rotation. Now we're probably going to go somewhere between 20 and 25-year rotation. Are the taxpayers going to let you let this go for 25 years? No, you're going to hire contractors. Contractors cost more money because there's profit involved. I'm not in business unless I'm making a profit. So, and you look around, over $500,000 in paint contracts alone last year. I guarantee you we could have got more schools done if we had our old crew, if we had an actual crew. And that is just what I know because I'm a painter. That goes for everything, roofers, plumbers. Every day we see more and more outside contractors and less employees every single day. And I saw some a little bit earlier today. I'm not going to blame anybody, but I have pictures everybody wants to see. But I don't know if there's a major disconnect between the real world and what funnels to you guys, but filtration systems that are supposed to be in these schools, y'all need to go out and take a look. That's all I have to say, because they're not there. But what I would ask for all y'all, on top of this personal thing, but on the budget-wise, is that on your agenda here, there's millions and millions of dollars that you're going to talk about the budget tonight. Why can't you budget steps for Mr. Lightsey? Why can't you budget a decent cost of living raise? Here's what the, real quick, inflation, 5.4 is from the federal government. What you're actually offering us right now, 2%. And what Mr. Lightsey's steps, that right there, that's what we think. That's what we're reading off.
Thank you, sir. Mr. Galloway, and then Daryl Robertson.
Hi.
Good evening.
My name is Richard Galloway. I live
Yes.
at 56 Flamingo Boulevard in Winter Haven. I've been driving a school bus for y'all for 23 years. I come to you today asking you to please give us a $2 per hour raise and a one-level increase. Why, you may ask? Because this will retain good drivers and attendants you already have and entice more to come work for us. We already have a shortage on our hand, and it's not getting any better. This is not a job for most of us. Most love what we do and watch our students grow up. I know I have. 23 years, I've seen a lot of kids come and go. But it would be nice to be appreciated more than just, thanks for what you do, good job, you know. Show us by keep us by giving us wages we deserve, and let us not forget other parts of our support system. The cafeteria workers, custodians, maintenance, they all deserve better wages. They have a lot of openings to fill as well. Without the gears of the support staff and school, buses wouldn't operate, your buildings wouldn't get maintained, and the children wouldn't be fed. So think about us out here struggling to get by on a pay scale from 2016 with a 2021 cost of living. When you decide our wages with our union, I appreciate and respect the job y'all do, so please make it right so we don't lose any more good employees. Thank you for your time.
Thank you, sir. Mr. Robertson, Daryl Robertson. And after Mr. Robertson would be Jessica Landers.
Good evening.
Good
My name's
evening.
Daryl Robertson, 169 Browning Circle, Winter Haven, Florida. Welcome, Dr. Hyde. Thank you. I haven't had a chance to meet you yet. No personal attack on you. I spoke with Mr. Bridges after a meeting when we decided to hire Dr. Hyde. You found $18,000 more than what we were paying our last superintendent. That's an 8% raise. Our sub-drivers that were starting at $10 an hour, I understand are now starting at $12 an hour. That's a 20% raise. And yet you're offering everybody else 2%. Does that not seem like a slap in the face? It sure feels like it to me. You and I spoke after one of the meetings, and I've said this before, but it seems to be falling on deaf ears. These raises need to be a part of the budget. How long are you going to kick the can down the road? I'm getting to the age where I love my job, and it's too old for me to start over somewhere else. So yeah, I'm probably going to stay at the whatever I'm making. But the younger ones, we're losing them right and left. I have a niece that's starting August the 1st. $15 an hour starting pay. It's coming. You've got to be able to compete with this. If you want quality employees, you want people not calling all the time saying, how come my child's late to school all the time? We don't have enough bus drivers. We're having to cover routes. We get no extra pay for covering the routes. If it goes past your goldenrod, you may get 10 or 15 minutes or 30 minutes at the most. 2% is unacceptable. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Is Ms. Landers here? She's making her way forward. After Ms. Landers would be Lisa Burke.
Ready?
I am ready.
Good afternoon, Board. My name is Jessica Landers. I live at 200 Avenue K Southeast in Winter Haven. You might know me from the district as Noah. I am your full-time courier. Before that, I was your bus driver for 6 years and your sub-courier for 4. Recently, I just got able to be upgraded, or not really upgraded, appointed as your full-time courier because ours retired after 30 years. They need so many bus drivers that it's hard for me to say, hey, come and be a bus driver, because I love my job as a courier and I love my job as a bus driver. But it's hard to recruit bus drivers if we don't get paid what we need to get paid. It's hard to have kids in a building with no custodians. How are you going to clean and cook after children if there's nobody there to work? You can't do it. I have so many people that goes, man, I really want to work. I don't want to work during the summers. I don't want to work weekends. Great. Be a bus attendant. Be a bus driver. You know, custodians, you have the weekends off. Well, how much do you think pay? Full-time, $13.40 an hour. That don't make nothing. For the longest time, I was a single parent of 4 children on a bus driver pay, maybe making $21,000 a year. Working two days at the district and 3 of those at another school to help make ends meet, not for my budget, not for my paychecks, but for the students, because you're short custodians, you're short food nutrition. How are they going to get fed during the summer? There's a manager that had to make over 140 to 150 lunches a week to feed students, and no help. Why? Because nobody wants to. Nobody can do it. So I'm asking for more money to where we can bring people in to want to work and stay and not just go to Amazon or Wendy's and make $10 an hour. You have almost 2,000 people making under $11 an hour. Help us make people want to come and work for you. It's a good job. It's a really good job. But they make more money staying at home on unemployment. They make more money flipping burgers. You need more money for school buses. You need more money for custodians, for nutrition. Help us keep people working here. Thank you.
Thank you. Next, we have Lisa Burke and then Kathy Lewis.
Good evening. I'm Lisa Burke, President of AFSCME. I live at 3100 Fast Truck Trail in Lake Wales. And I wanted to talk to you about some of the job descriptions that we've updated in some new positions. We have one that will be strictly monitoring the ESSER funds. That's going to make $67,000 a year. This is what I'm worth to you. 28 cents. That's what you're going. You know, that's what you're saying. 15 years, 28 cents. No raise in 15 years. And today, some talk was done about contractors. We have EV systems going in. That's $20 million that'll be added to the ESSER funds. Contractors, let me ask this. As we put this and add them to the budget, they don't do as good a job as your employees do. And Matt's right, to be honest, because they don't want to go back through and redo it. Insurance, we're talking about, that was brought up here a little bit ago. That was never brought up in the Superintendent's Insurance Committee meeting, to be honest. We've saved millions of dollars, but a proposal has been talked about raising our insurance. Wow, $25, but this is what I'm going to get. So I get to go in debt if we even talk about the insurance and prescriptions cost and everything. Gallons of milk have gone up. We have custodians that's been here, she's 30-some years. You know what she's gonna get? She's worth a few more of these. That's not right. Like I said, there was a class last week of 9 bus drivers they were doing in training. I think we're down to 1 or 2. We're gonna be short people. Just give them a decent raise, and we will keep people. That's what it will take to keep those loyal people that's been here for 15, 20 years, 10 years, 30 years. But this is what we're saying that they're worth for 4 years with no raise. That's not right. And there's a bunch of them out here, and they're going to tell you what they're worth too. They're worth more than that. This should be the place they come to be proud of. This should be the county that everybody comes to. We are the biggest in the state. We love our kids. Why are we here? But you have your 15-year people that are really considering, and they are walking away. And Thursday will be the telltale sign when in-service happens. We will know how many we're short. And I think it's closer to 100. But there's a lot of them, it's those 15-year people, because they're not vested to be here like the 30-year people. Those other companies are paying more money. No stress. You want us to do assigned seats again this year. We need paid for all that. Thank you.
Thank you. Ms. Lewis is coming forward, and next we'll have Gabriella Anderson.
Hello, my name is Kathy Lewis. I live at 12 West 3rd Street, Frostproof. I'm a school bus driver for you guys. I have been that for, this is my 10th year coming up. I love my job. I love my kids. But I hate the money I make. I am a single mom. In the last 3 years, my rent has gone up every year $100 a month. Before long, I will be homeless. For me being here tonight, trying to fight for my survival, instead of being with my family right now, because both of my elderly parents are in the hospital with COVID. My dad is now on a ventilator, but I have to be here fighting for my life and my children's lives to survive. Shame on you guys. I am worth more than $13.40 an hour. I bust my butt for you guys. I do. I don't mind covering. I'll do anything I'm asked. I am worth more than that. Shame on you. I want my steps back. I deserve them. You offering me 2% raise is spitting in my face and telling me I am not worth anything. And I am this close to walking, this close. And the only thing that's keeping me here are my babies on my bus because I love them. They are like my children. I would protect them with my life. So I am asking you, I am begging you, do something for all of us or you're going to lose us because we are so fed up. And I know that you don't believe us because you've heard it year and year again. But we're walking. We're walking. Thank you.
Thank you. Ms. Anderson?
Hi, my name is Gabrielle Anderson. I live at 3501 Jade Lane, Mulberry, Florida, 33860. I'm here today to discuss a gross injustice. We're going to have a lot of interesting conversations today about freedoms and personal choice, etc. When we have a majority of some very core essential school board employees being paid less than living wages and recently offered an insultingly low raise of 28 cents to cover the last 4 years since their last wage increase. My daughter is a Polk Public School student, and I was a Polk Public School student, and I think my daughter's safety is worth more than 7 cents a year for the last 4 years that you're willing to pay these bus drivers. Representative Hyde, you're proud and excited to register 3 cars and a boat trailer while your bus drivers and your cafeteria workers are on government assistance. That is disgusting. My husband and I work jobs for a living. We support ourselves, and we have jobs that we're passionate about and that pay us enough to stay there and to save for our daughter's future. But your workers have been facing a tremendous dilemma of choosing between a necessary job they care about or food on the table. You're going to start this year with 103 bus drivers short, and as a parent, that terrifies me. But completely expected, honestly. When our own local government isn't agreeable, doesn't decide that they want to provide competitive wages to our own federal government. And I have faith in the professionalism and the safety focus of our bus drivers, our food service workers, and our other valued, education workers. But I'm greatly concerned with their effectiveness when they're faced with grievous understaffing. And I would urge each and every one of you on this board to deeply think about your own positions. You are put there by the community to serve the students and the parents of Polk County, a job you cannot possibly hope to perform well if you leave behind these most essential and important workers. I also just want to say, too, when you have cabinet members of your own board saying that the people talking about their own strife is what she considers, I can't say profanity, it's witching with a B. Someone on this staff is texting people outside of this room and saying the people coming up here right now are B-wording about their complaints. I'm absolutely livid at that as a parent. Absolutely livid. Because I'm sitting behind a woman right there who texted somebody that the public comments were quote-unquote B-wording about raises. That is disgusting. That should never be a thing. And I am shamed that this board will allow that to happen. But I want to thank you all so much for your time. I want to thank the workers who are here tonight to stand up for themselves because they deserve it and they should be listened to. Have a great night.
Thank you. Board members, now we need to approve 3 sets of minutes. First set of minutes is for the June 8th, 2021 school board meeting. The chair will entertain a motion to accept the June 8th, 2021 school board meeting minutes as printed. Do I have a motion and a second?
So moved.
Second.
Is there any discussion? Seeing none, I'd like to call for a vote. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye. Aye. All those opposed, nay. The motion carries unanimously. The second set of minutes is for the June 8th, 2021 work session. The chair will entertain a motion to accept the June 8th, 2021 work session minutes as printed. Do I have a motion and a second?
So moved.
Second.
Is there any discussion? Seeing none, I'd like to call for a vote. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye. Aye. All those opposed, nay. Motion carries unanimously. The third set of minutes is for the July 20th, 2021 school board meeting. The chair will entertain a motion to accept the July 20th, 2021 school board meeting minutes as printed. Do I have a motion and a second?
So moved. Second.
I have a motion and a second. Is there any discussion? Seeing none, I'd like to call for a vote. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye. Aye. All those opposed, nay. Motion carries unanimously. The next item is approval of today's consent agenda. The chair will entertain a motion to accept the July 27th, 2021 consent agenda as printed. Do I have a motion and a second?
So moved. Second.
I have a motion and a second. Is there any discussion?
I think there should be some discussion.
Madam Chair, there was an item that was pulled by request, just to make sure that that was
Yes,
accurately reflected.
it was already pulled.
Yes,
We
ma'am.
did that before the meeting, but thank you.
Madam
Okay.
Chair,
Yes, sir.
I think there were some items we were going to get some explanation for before we vote.
Did you want those before the vote?
I think that would be most
Hyde,
appropriate.
It's up to you.
We are prepared. If
We are
Ms.
ready?
Wright is in the room, she could come to the microphone. If not, I'm prepared to speak to item G7, Title I, Part C, Education for Migratory Children. It's a continuation grant to the amount of $1.5 million. Not seeing Ms. Wright, I'm prepared to provide the narrative. So this is a federal grant, as you know, that comes from Title I, Part C, and it does extend from an earlier adoption of ESSA. This specific grant addresses the needs of over 1,600 migrant students and it provides resources and services and supports to them directly through our ability to staff 18 full-time staff, covers 70% of the senior coordinator's salary and 25% of the program evaluator's salary. It provides tutoring and intervention support services from everything from English language arts to mathematics. It also assists us with ensuring timeliness in their graduation and accelerated learning options. It also allows us to address out-of-school youth, provide early childhood intervention and recruitment, identification and recruitment of students and families, and parent and family engagement.
Thank you, Mr. Hyde.
You're very welcome, sir.
Are there other items, Mr.
We had a
Wilson?
couple more.
Thought there were a few different ones.
I apologize, I have the list here.
That's okay.
New elementary school was already, we addressed previously as a non-issue. Under consent item for support services, item number 2, the school resource officer agreements. Rob, would you like to come forward and address that?
Good evening.
Good evening.
Good evening.
These are contracts with 8 different agencies that we are putting in our high schools. They are 56 officers. They're a combination of, like I said, from 8 different agencies. Majority are coming from the Polk County Sheriff's Department. And it's a part of the FS, or Florida Statute 1006.12 for the protection and safety of school personnel, property, students, and visitors of each school board and school district superintendent shall partner with law enforcement agencies or security agencies to establish or assign one or more safe schools officers at each school facility within the district. So that's what we're doing with the officers, and we do the elementary and other schools that are with our school guardians.
It covers 56 total law enforcement
Yes.
positions.
Yes.
Thank you. And just as a point of clarification, I asked that the items on the consent agenda be, that we have some discussion simply for those items that were over $1 million, just in the interest of transparency. So it doesn't need to be a lengthy explanation, just something for the, our general public to understand that what's happening with those dollars. So
Yes,
thank
sir.
you.
Thank you. Thanks, Mr. Davis. Ms. Everett, is she present this evening? Here she comes. Ms. Everett has item number 7 under consent agenda for teaching and learning. This is a purchase of Achieve 3000 and Smarty Ants Teaching and Learning, approximately $1.6 million. These are instructional interventions and supports for our students that focus on primary literacy through secondary literacy. And I'll turn it over to you.
Thank you. Good evening, everybody. This is the Achieve bundle for our students. Achieve Literacy provides the primary instructional materials for our secondary intensive reading courses. And this year, we're actually adding a piece to that called FastBridge. It's a foundational piece specifically addressing secondary students that are struggling with foundational pieces and gaps that they've experienced from elementary school. It also includes the K-2 supplemental Smarty Ants program used by our students. And then it also includes a Boost Light for our primary students in K-2 that finish Smarty Ants, conclude the program so that they can continue to grow above their grade level as well. And it's all of those pieces packaged together.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Madam Chair, members of the board, the last item that I believe we had was item number 11 under that same section N, consent agenda for teaching and learning. This is in regards to the purchase of Renaissance Flow 360 and Freckle Math from Renaissance Teaching and Learning for $1.9 million. Dr. McNaughton, are you available? If not, Ann, you can come back up and speak. So a big part of this, as Ann returns to the dais here, is our ongoing progress monitoring. So as you know, in an era in a state with high stakes accountability, our ability to monitor our students' progress from the start of the school year continuously throughout the year and be able to provide intervention in real time based off need is ever more important. And so this process, STAR, allows us to do that. You're all familiar with STAR. It is our primary progress monitoring tool, and it's our best predictor of student outcomes. The correlation between STAR outcomes and Florida assessment results is high. And so whatever we see reported from our spring to winter, from our fall to winter and our winter to spring is a strong indication of where our students might perform and any growth and or a proficiency level attainment that they may reflect in their final statewide assessments. So go ahead. Did I leave anything left?
I will add that this also includes the accelerated reader component that I know most everybody understands or is familiar with, the AR piece that everybody knows. And then it also includes instructional tools so that our teachers can help group students based on their needs and really begin to provide those interventions that are specific to those students that have those individual needs. And so it kind of all packaged together as well. It's another large package.
And just for the sake of the community and those who are in the audience with us today who may not be familiar with AR, Accelerated Reader is the process we use within our media centers, primarily in elementary school, which are leveled text. So we identify students at their current reading level, and then by color code or by a different symbol, they can actually ensure that they continue to read and get exposed to various genre and other reading materials that are age and developmentally appropriate for them, but then also increase with difficulty and challenge them over time. And so many of our schools, as you know, have rewards and incentive programs around AR. For example, I know that Floral Elementary School will actually be giving away some prizes based off their summer literacy initiatives with their students, because each time a student reads a book, they take an assessment, and then that captures, and it basically counts towards points that those students can redeem. So there's an incentive there for them to continue to read and strive to read more difficult content, but more importantly for us, that we ensure that when they do read something, that they're developing stronger reading comprehension skills and strategies along the way. So it's a very balanced program. AR has been used, my goodness, for probably 20 years in the public education sector.
Yeah, it's been around since the 80s. It was actually developed by a parent, and she had her own children, and she wanted them to read, but she also wanted to make sure that they were understanding what they read. So she actually started it in her garage in the 80s, and she was quizzing her children as they read books, and then it kind of grew to what it is today. And really the goal of AR is to really develop that love of reading, right, and make sure that kids are enjoying that.
Thank you.
Across the board. Thank you.
I believe those were all the items that exceeded $1 million.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Hyde. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Thank you so much, Mr. Wilson and Superintendent Hyde. So we have a motion and a second to approve the consent agenda. Any further discussion, board members? Seeing none, I'd like to call for a vote. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye. Aye. All those opposed, nay. The motion carries unanimously. The next item on our agenda tonight is the new administrator announcements. Superintendent Hyde, would you please introduce our new administrators?
Yes, ma'am. Madam Chair, members of the board, and community and staff, it's my pleasure this evening to introduce our new administrators who have recently been appointed. They are joined by their families. We did provide you with biographies on each so you have where they're coming from and where they're going to, and a little bit more detail about them. So first, Cheryl Hill, principal at Caldwell Elementary School, has been promoted to Director of Recruitment and Certification and Compliance. Next is Tony Kirk, Acting Senior Director of Human Resource Services. He's been promoted to Director of Human Resources Services. I'll do them in small groups. Next is Michael Craig, Manager of Purchasing Services, who has been promoted to Director of Purchasing and Print Services. Jason Geary, Acting Director of Communications, will now be promoted to Director of Communications. And Kevin Robertson, Acting Principal at Gauss Academy, is now promoted to Principal of Gauss Academy. And I had the pleasure and luxury of visiting his school recently. So as you heard when we first started, and we'll do them again in groups, so please, if you'll join me in giving them a round of applause and congratulating them. it is important that we recognize family, and I had the opportunity this evening, as you know, to celebrate my appointment this evening with my family, but, you know, our dedication to public service and education is truly reflective of servant leadership. We give of ourselves tirelessly and with a level of dedication that's unsurpassed by many others. And behind us are our family and our friends and our loved ones. And more often than not, they lose time with us because we invest so heavily in others. And so I did take the opportunity to say thank you to them, because without them and their support, your loved ones would not be able to strive for excellence the way they do. So thank you very much for supporting them, and thank you and congratulations to our new appointees. Okay, I think we should probably file you out so we can bring in the next group. Coming in, Heather Palmer, school-based coach at Spook Hill Elementary School, has been promoted to assistant principal at Spook Hill Elementary School.
Awesome.
Marte Wilson, assistant principal 2 at Denison Middle School, has been promoted to assistant principal at McLaughlin Middle School. Leslie Clay, assistant principal 2 at Stambaugh High School, or Middle School, excuse me, has been promoted to assistant principal at Stambaugh Middle. Sherry Onorati, teacher, testing coordinator at Daniel Jenkins Academy of Technology, has been promoted to assistant principal of Inwood Elementary School. Chandra Johnson, assistant principal 2 at Bartow Middle, has been promoted to assistant principal of Jewett School of the Arts. So if you will again join me in congratulating all of these. And again, a sincere thank you to their family and loved ones for being here this evening and continue to support them in their mission of excellence. Thank you. Next, we have Kayla Pagan Cartagena, school-based coach at Horizons Elementary School, who's been promoted to assistant principal of Griffin Elementary. After her, we have Toiletta Speed, acting assistant principal at Gauss Academy, has now been promoted to assistant principal at Gauss Academy. Sean Livingston, assistant principal of Real Academy, has been promoted to principal of Paget Elementary, ooh, that was big promotion, promoted to assistant principal at Paget Elementary. Casey Willis, school-based coach at Spessard Holland Elementary School, has been promoted to assistant principal at Lincoln Academy. Carrie Foster, curriculum specialist for math, was promoted to senior director of K-12 mathematics. And that concludes all of our acknowledgments, so please join me one more time, give them a round of applause. And congratulations again to their family and loved ones who are here with them this evening. Without you, they would not be here. Thank you.
Does that conclude?
That concludes those acknowledgments. I apologize.
Thank you, Superintendent Hyde. Board members, next we come to our action agenda. And the first item today is the mental health allocation and plan. The chair will entertain a motion to approve the mental health plan for the 2021-22 school year. Do I have a motion and a second?
So moved.
Second.
Is there any discussion? We have Dr. Lutz in the room. I know we had a lengthy discussion today. Yes, Ms. Fortney?
I just want to interject to please watch the work session about the ratios of our social workers, school counselors, mental health professionals, they are unacceptable. And when people get all riled up about an issue, I wish they get riled up about things that really do hinder kids from learning and living a valuable life. That's it.
Thank you, Ms. Fortney. Is there any further discussion, board members? Seeing none, I'd like to call for a vote. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye. Aye. All those opposed, nay. Motion carries unanimously. The next item we have tonight is the revision of the Senior Director, Legislative Liaison, Government Affairs and Policy job description. The chair will entertain a motion to approve the revision to the Senior Director, Legislative Liaison, Government Affairs and Policy job description. Do I have a motion and a second?
So moved.
Second?
Is there any discussion? Ms. Fields?
Thank you. We had discussion during the work session, and this item was on the consent agenda, and I asked it be moved to the action agenda. And I wanted to preface it with the comment that I made earlier today. I am very appreciative of the hard work that Wendy Dodge does as our Director of the Legislative Liaison, Governmental Affairs and Policy job position. I think that she does a great job. However, there are others that are in waiting to have the same opportunity. And as I said this morning, or early afternoon rather, that if it was a collective recommendation where others that are also in a place where they need to have consideration as a upgrade or a promotion from a director to a senior director, I would be more than happy to consider this. But because it's coming, I guess, in one stage at a time, I cannot support it. I have heard from others that they feel like they are in need of the same consideration, and I know that Mr. Hyde is going to be doing some of that. And I know that staff morale is at an all-time low. We heard from some of our staff just a few minutes ago about the need for us to consider to equity and making sure that everybody gets the same equal footing as it relates to salaries. So because of that, and again, nothing against the person that's in the position, I cannot support this recommendation. Thank you.
Okay, any further discussion? Seeing none, I'd like to go ahead and call for a vote. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye. Aye. All those opposed, nay.
Nay.
The motion carries 6-1. Now it is time for our public hearing. I would like to recess the school board meeting and open up the public hearing. At this time, I would like to call the public hearing for July 27th, 2021 to order. Our first item to consider tonight is the 2021-2022 Student Code of Conduct. Is there anyone in the audience that would like to come forward to address this one item? If so, please come forward, state your name and address for the record, and you will have 3 minutes to address the board.
Madam Chair, if I may.
Yes,
Members
sir.
of the board, just for clarification, that board policy will also contain a revision based off the consensus vote from earlier today. It will remove any reference to board policy as it relates to face masks.
Okay, sir. Thank you very much for that update.
Yes, ma'am.
Anyone want to come forward? Okay, seeing no one, the chair will entertain a motion. Is this regarding the Student Code of Conduct? Yes. Okay,
Yes, it is.
please. State your name,
Brenda
your address.
Stokes. I live at 1111 Surrey Street in Haines City, Florida. The other thing this afternoon, it said, I know you withdrew the thing about the mask in the school board policy, but then you left it in the Student Code of Conduct. I want a clarification on that. That's only for students that wear the mask, that they choose to wear the mask,
Correct.
and that if they don't wear it properly, then they'll be in trouble. Is
No,
that what
ma'am,
it's saying?
No, ma'am, that's an assumption. So
Okay, I wanted to know, I wanted
students will
clarity.
be redirected if they wear the mask inappropriately. That's part of the policy. It's just like proper attire being worn appropriately. We would address that with the family. What we anticipate may happen is that students may arrive on campus, they've been instructed to wear a mask, they look around, others are not, and so they may remove the mask, they may not wear it properly. The whole point is if they're choosing to wear it, they must wear it appropriately.
That's what I was
And so the conversation is going to be had with their family so they can make an informed decision for the subsequent day. There
Okay.
is no discipline consequence for that.
That's what I'm wondering.
However, there will be potentially a disciplinary consequence should a student wear a mask that's completely inappropriate. For example, if it violated our student code of conduct, and that's why we were insistent on keeping it there.
I understand.
Yes,
Thank you.
ma'am. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Okay. Chair will entertain a motion to approve the 2021-2022 Student Code of Conduct. Do I have a motion and a second?
Madam Chair, I make that motion as revised, because there will be a revision to it, correct?
Thank you. I have a motion and a second. Is there any further discussion? Seeing none, I'd like to call for a vote. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. All those opposed, nay. The motion carries unanimously. Our next item is the 2021-2022 tentative budget and millage rates. Is there anyone in the audience that would like to come forward to address this item? If so, please state your name and address for the record, and you will have 3 minutes to address the board. Seeing none, we shall proceed. And we have a bunch of motions, so bear with me. The first one is the chair will entertain a motion to approve the required local effort of 3.581 mils. Do I have a motion and a second?
So moved.
Second?
Having a motion and a second, is there any discussion? Seeing none, I'd like to call for a vote. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye. Aye. All those opposed, nay. Motion carries unanimously. The chair will now entertain a motion to approve the discretionary operating millage of 0.748 mils. Do I have a motion and a second?
So moved. Second.
Is there any discussion? Seeing none, I'd like to call for a vote. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye. Aye. All those opposed, nay. Motion carries unanimously. The chair will now entertain a motion to approve the local capital improvement capital outlay millage of 1.5 mils. Do I have a motion and a second?
So moved.
Second.
Is there any discussion? Seeing none, I'd like to call for a vote. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye. Aye. All those opposed, nay. The motion carries unanimously. Next, the chair will entertain a motion to approve Resolution 2021-2022/01, formally adopting the millage rates for the 2021-2022 school year. Do I have a motion and a second?
Second.
Is there any discussion? Seeing none, I'd like to call for a vote. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye. Aye. All those opposed, nay. The motion carries unanimously. The chair will entertain a motion to approve Resolution 2021-2022/02, formally adopting the 2021-2022 tentative budget. Do I have a motion and a second?
So moved.
Second.
Is there any discussion? Seeing none, I'd like to call for a vote. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye. Aye. All those opposed, nay. The motion carries unanimously. The chair will entertain a motion to approve the tentative budget for the fiscal year 2021-2022 in the amount of $2,201,878,6 $755. Do I have a motion and a second?
So moved. Second.
Is there any discussion? Seeing none, I'd like to call for a vote. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye. Aye. All those opposed, nay. The motion carries unanimously. And lastly, the chair will entertain a motion to submit to the property appraiser Form DR-420S, Certificate of Taxable Value, which reflects the previously approved tentative millage rates and sets the final budget hearing for Tuesday, September 7th, 2021, no earlier than 5:01 p.m. here at the Jim Miles Professional Development Center, 4270 Wallace Road, Lakeland, Florida, 33812. Do I have a motion and a second?
So moved.
Second.
Is there any discussion? Seeing none, I'd like to call for a vote. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye. Aye. All those opposed, nay. The motion carries unanimously. The third item before us this evening is our policy updates. Is there anyone in the audience tonight that would like to come forward to address this item? Seeing none, we shall proceed. And just for clarification, Mr. Bridges, can I go ahead and do them all in one, or do I need to do each item separately?
Madam
Normally,
Chair,
I do them all.
Unless there is an item that board members wish to discuss separately, you may do them all together.
Okay. So the chair will entertain a motion to approve the updates to the following policies. And board members, if you want to pull one, let me know as I read them. 7250, naming of school facilities, commemoration, and memorials. 7250.01, deleting the policy now of naming of school facilities. Bylaws 165, meetings. Bylaws 165.1, agendas. Bylaws 166, executive. Bylaw 165.1, work session, and 8315, information management. Do I have a motion and a second?
So moved.
Second.
Is there any discussion on those policy updates? Seeing none, I'd like to call for a vote. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye. 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 All those opposed, nay. The motion carries unanimously. And at this time, I would like to close the public hearing and reconvene the school board meeting. The next item tonight is our superintendent's report. Superintendent Hyde, do you have an update for us today?
I do, Madam Chair, members of the board. This is not something to get used to because I'm not used to not providing more comprehensive superintendent reports. But the next work session and board meeting will be held on August 24th, 2021. The board work session will begin at 12:30 p.m. and the board meeting will begin at 5 p.m. They will be held the meeting will be held at the Jim Miles Professional Development Center located at 5204 U.S. Highway 98 South in Lakeland. The next superintendent's report will focus primarily on strategic planning and also some other comprehensive updates.
Thank you, sir. Next, we'll have our attorney's report, which will be given by Mr. West Bridges.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I have a bit of an unusual item this evening for you, and I can give you as much detail as you would like, but in a nutshell, you'll recall about a year ago you executed a partial termination of ground lease agreements, and it had to do with a parcel of land just to the east of George Jenkins High School, which is being developed for residential use as we speak. And this is property that was formerly owned by the school district. I believe you sold it about the turn of the century, but it had been the subject of a certificate of participation transaction back in the early 90s. So this goes back about 30 years altogether. And when that property was sold, apparently the title work conducted by the company that was doing that did not catch some of the ground leases that were created as part of that COPS transaction, and they asked us to terminate those ground leases. So we brought that transaction to you after some grief trying to figure it all out and review by our bond counsel. We brought that to you and took care of it. Was recently contacted by the developer once again, and apparently there was a similar situation with a couple of other lots that they had just discovered, and they asked that the board do that. It involves no financial impact to the school board at all. It is simply to clear the title, remove that cloud on the title for the developer who is the successor owner of that property. So I have brought that to you tonight with a request that you approve the partial termination of ground lease agreements.
Thank you, Mr. Bridges. So the chair will entertain a motion to execute the proposed partial termination of ground lease agreements for the real property located to the east of George Jenkins High School. Do I have a motion and a second?
So moved.
Second?
Is there any discussion? Seeing none, I'd like to call for a vote. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye. Aye. All those opposed, nay. Motion carries unanimously.
Thank you, Madam Chair. That's all I have for you this evening.
Thank you, sir. Next item on our agenda is our auditor's report. And I believe we have a report this evening, which will be given by our internal auditor, Ms. Carol Matthews.
Thank you, Madam Chair. So this evening, I've brought the internal audit plan for your approval. The internal audit charter requires school board approval of an annual audit plan. And the plan was created from a comprehensive risk assessment of the school district and covers as many higher risk areas as possible, given our available resources. Audit plans must be flexible to account for unanticipated demands, such as unscheduled audits and investigations, and any significant deviation from the approved audit plan will be communicated to the school board through periodic activity reports. The audit plan was previously emailed to you for your review. So this evening, I'm requesting your approval of the 2021-2022 internal audit plan.
Thank you. The chair will entertain a motion to approve the 2021-2022 audit plan for internal audit services. Do I have a motion and a second?
So moved.
Second.
Is there any discussion? Seeing none, I'd like to call for a vote. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye. Aye. All those opposed, nay. Motion carries unanimously. Thank you so much, Ms. Matthews. And now we will have our board members' reports, and we will begin with Dr. Allen.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Superintendent Hyde, thanks for engaging the families of our new administrators. It was a nice look. I really appreciate that and that support unit that's around our new administrators. The other thing that, for those in the audience, if you've noticed as well, we've got the full cabinet out here, and I really appreciate that. It's good to have you all out there. And I'm not sure who organized the agenda by category. I just wanted to give a big thanks for that. And I think for the general public that's following our agenda, if you notice in board docs, it's all organized by cabinet position now. So as our community engages with our content, I think that's done very well. Compassion is one of those words that you can't draw. Like if I say ball, you could draw a ball. But when I say compassion, you can't necessarily draw it. But you can maybe draw somebody that demonstrates it, or there's some reflection on that. So a couple of things I'm going to draw attention to tonight really demonstrates the idea of compassion. First of all, Ms. Jenna and our school nutrition team did an amazing job this summer feeding our students throughout the community. If you know anything about that, that was happening on Mondays and Thursdays, and we were pretty much distributing meals for the whole week. Ms. Jenna organized some really incredible instructional materials that then trained managers at each location. We had drivers that would drop at a particular time because everything was temperature sensitive, and then we had the turnaround on serving. I had a chance to take part in that, and it just the time logistics, the coordination, quite amazing. And I don't even know what the numbers were, but I'm sure Mr. Davis would know that. And just want to just give a shout out for that element of compassion that was extended to our community in great ways. Another example of compassion that I noticed just recently, Coach Adrian and the George Jenkins High Wind Dancers, they initiated a community service project called Compassion Project, and they were collecting items all summer, and then they came and gave their contributions to Lighthouse Ministries, to their thrift store. I just wanted to give a thanks to the CEO, Steve Turbyville, and the board chair, Ashley Troutman, for just integrating and sharing the great work that Lighthouse Ministries does within our community. And so we've got those demonstrations of compassion. And then I wanted to give a shout out to Pamela Rodriguez. And if you're tracking on the school board page, we shared the story. Pamela Rodriguez went to North Lakeland Elementary, graduated from Harrison School of Arts, and then went on to Florida Southern College. And a little film that she wrote was just picked up by HBO Max. I had a chance to serve as a producer and a unit production manager on that project. It was a very big faculty collaborative project, but the story is set in one of our classrooms, specifically North Lakeland Elementary School. And for her, as a Latina, was really struggling with assimilating in her classroom. And it was her teacher, who was from India, who came alongside her and allowed her to value her culture. And this is a really beautiful story. So if you want to watch it, it's on HBO Max. If you search by EAT, the name of the film is Kome. So a great little project that demonstrates some elements of compassion that happen right in our classroom and will now have a larger impact in the film world. So pretty cool recognition for Harrison School of the Arts and then Florida Southern College. She's one of my students as well. So as an update, the Lakeland Aero Club, if you've been tracking what we've been doing at the Central Florida Aerospace Academy in connection with Kathleen High, some incredible work being done there, but they're pretty close to arriving with several Super Cubs to Oshkosh, Wisconsin, to the Air Venture 2021 air show. So this cross-country flight, it's been happening since 2015, and it's my understanding that the gas tanks in these little Super Cubs actually only allow them to do about an hour and a half hop. So they leave from Lakeland, and they go up to Oshkosh, Wisconsin, and then they fly back. And then they take part in the air show. Pretty amazing event that they get to take part in, and I just wanted to give a little shout out. I know a couple students that are on that journey, and happy flying to our Polk County students. And then lastly, just want to give a little recognition to Miss Kay Fields, who is probably right in the middle of organizing a pretty major event this coming weekend, and she'll maybe speak more to it, but it's on July 31st and August 1st, celebrating 50 years. Girls Inc. within Lakeland, serving our community. So thank you for doing that. That's all I have, Madam Chair.
Thank you, Dr. Allen. Next, Ms. Sarah Fortney.
Thank you, Ms. Cunningham. First, I want to wish everybody who's retiring happy retirement. We take all volunteers. When you get bored, which I know you will, to come back and hang out at your schools and help our staff make a difference. The speakers this evening, I want to thank you for standing up and speaking out about wages. It is always on my mind how we can say that we love you and then, excuse me, we don't pay you. And I will do everything in my power to make sure. And if there was somebody being disrespected out there, I would like to talk with that person. Moving on to something a little more positive. At Purcell Saturday from 11 to 1, we have a partnership with the City of Mulberry, Babcock Corporation, and the Mulberry Ministerial Alliance, I can get it right, The students have to be present and have a Mulberry School ID. They're giving out backpacks, etc. Feel free, if you're in the Mulberry school system, to stop by. I want to give a huge shout out to our warehouse right here in Bartow. Bobby Williams, some of y'all know him of the Freedom Tour. Danny Higgins, our ultra mega person in Mulberry, called me and asked me if I still had my little trailer, and I said, I do. I need you to go to Eagle Ridge Mall, and I need you to pick up some water. And I said, okay. So I hook up the trailer, and I go, and I get there. Bobby greets me. Bobby's a former student of mine. And he goes, is that what you drove? And I said, yes, sir. And he said, this is what you have to take. It was 5 pallets. 5 pallets. 3 pallets of water, and I mean pallets. And 2 pallets of nothing but snacks. So I called a warehouse right there in the parking lot of Eagle Ridge Mall, and Eli came to the rescue. It was picked up and brought, thank you, Miss Usher, and our warehouse staff. And then 2 Mulberry teachers and I in a trailer and a big truck went and picked it up the next day and distributed it at the migrant camp. The farm workers, and that's what it takes. It takes that teamwork, and we have it. I'd just like to reward it a little more. So to Kelly and her husband, Mulberry Middle, Mulberry High, thank you. And then speaking of staff, I'm sure you all driving around. Mr. Allen mentioned, feeding all the kids. Yes, what we did all summer. We fed kids. And they worked in, tandem. Some people have yet to even take a vacation, or even can afford to take a vacation, let alone take one, but just maybe get some time to themselves. But you drive by these schools, and they are always busy. If you find a school that doesn't have a car in it, I want you to text me, because I want to go look myself. Because our people do care. That's why pre-K through 12 public schools just do it better. Right there. That's it.
Thank you, Ms. Fortney. Ms. Reynolds.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I had the opportunity last week to attend Know and Grow, which is a Polk Vision program that was run at Lake Ship. They've done several schools so far. I think they've reached Inwood. They've done twice at Inwood, twice at Crystal Lake, and then just completed Lake Ship, and they'll be doing another one at Lake Ship. But this program goes in and teaches parents how to use some of our technology. The number of parents that don't know how to access our parent portal to be able to check and see what their students' grades are, what their attendance is staggering. And realizing that this was an issue as we were moving on to some of our digital learning platforms, they not only targeted, okay, we need to teach the parents, but one of their barriers is childcare. So what are we gonna do with the kids while we're teaching the parents how to use technology? So they now have a healthy eating program for the students while their parents are learning how to use technology. It is the coolest program. It makes you feel good. There was a grandmother and granddaughter pair that came, and they would get there 30 minutes early every night just to make sure they got the best seat in the house. Mind you, there's like 40 people in the cafeteria, so there's plenty of seats. But they were just so genuinely excited to be able to do something together, and they're looking for other schools to pilot at, so and throughout Polk County. So be looking for it to come to a school near you. It's a lot of fun for both the parents and the students. Next, I had the opportunity in June to help with Youth Leadership Polk, which Youth Leadership Polk is basically a mini version of the Adult Leadership Polk, and it takes students, they do it in a compacted 1-week program. So they do everything from touring coffee shops to touring Legoland, learning all about the different businesses and industries in Polk County and what they have to offer. And then at the end of the week, they get paired with a mentee. So this is my mentee. Her name is Katie Lila. I asked her to come out so I could introduce her. She is a rising junior at Harrison School for the Arts. She is a dance major, and she is looking to, after high school, go to study. She's thinking somewhere maybe in China, but studying international business and Chinese as her majors with a minor in social media management. So she's hanging out with our tech team tonight. She was here all day with us to learn about what school boards do. And hasn't run away yet. So that's really the most impressive part. And she didn't fall asleep. So she's spending this evening with our tech team, kind of seeing what the tech side looks, and I think they've already recruited her to help with some things on their side. So if you have a chance afterwards, say hello to my friend Katie. So thank you.
Hey there, good to see you, honey.
And then I just want to say again, thank you to the Hyde family, because while it's great to have you here, moving here as a 14-year-old kid that doesn't know anybody, I think Freddie really gets the most credit for moving down. So just thank you for supporting you. The family has it just as tough. So thank you for all that you do, but also to your family for letting us have you as much as we do. And then I'd like to welcome Yvette, who is going to be our new school board executive assistant effective Monday. And then lastly, and this is the most exciting announcement, Mr. Hyde, what are you doing on November 4th?
I will be ill.
Mr. Hyde.
That was the good answer.
I will be participating in the lip sync competition.
Superintendent Hyde.
I am still struggling with identifying two songs, but I will. And I gave Ms. Reynolds incredible credit. They're very smart. They published my participation almost immediately after I said yes, so there's no possibility of me withdrawing at this point. So.
Yes, so Superintendent Hyde will be participating in the Winter Haven Celebrity Lip Sync Battle, which is the Winter Haven Public Education Partnership's big fundraiser for the year. So tickets are on sale now. If you want to see him lip sync, you can get it at celebritylipsyncbattle.com. So just a little shameless plug. Sorry, very good question. The event will be at the Chain of Lakes Complex, which is the old Cleveland Indian Stadium in Winter Haven. The address is 588 Cletus Allen Boulevard, Winter Haven, Florida, 33880. And it will start at 6 p.m. There'll be food trucks. It's a lot of fun. We have 5 other contestants too, but obviously you want to see Superintendent Hyde do 2 lip sync songs. He's also taking recommendations for songs because he still doesn't have them.
Oh, I have some ideas.
Yeah.
Okay.
And he's taking backup dancers too, so if you want to be a backup dancer, talk to him.
Mr. Wilson, Mr. Wilson. You're sick that night? Okay.
You know, everybody. So that concludes my report.
Thank you, Ms. Reynolds. Ms. Fields?
Thank you. I just have a couple of items. I wanted to welcome Mr. Hyde and his family to the Polk County School District. And also I wanted to welcome Ms. Yvette in her position as Executive Assistant to the School Board. I also wanted to congratulate all of the men and women that came before us today for their new positions and their families, as Mr. Hyde said, for making the sacrifice that they make each and every day to ensure that our students get the best care and education possible. So I want to congratulate them as well. Also, I want to thank Mr. Joe Tedder, who has really been an amazing partner, and his team, his staff, and also Southern Homes for the number of years that they have actually made sure that additional dollars have gone into our arts program. And it's amazing that he started here in Polk County and now it's throughout the state. So hats off to him again and his team. And then I wanted to thank United Way of Central Florida. I want to thank Dr. Allen for recognizing Girls Inc. for having 50 years of service in our community, inspiring all girls to be strong, smart, and bold. And I want to thank the coordinators who came before us today within the school district for working hard to raise the dollars for United Way. And I think that everyone realizes for the last year and a half it's been very difficult because of the pandemic. And I can't say enough how thankful Girls Inc. and other partners are to have United Way of Central Florida stepping up and helping us at a time when we really needed to have that extra effort and extra push financially. And again, thanking the school district and all the people that were recognized today, but every employee that is given to United Way, making a sacrifice each and every day to make our community better. And then the last thing, well, actually, I have two more things. I want to thank Mr. Hill for doing a very detailed COVID report today. And thank you and your team for making sure that we have a roadmap that we can follow this school year with some adjustments and some alignments. And then last but certainly not least, Ms. Cunningham had referenced Damian Moses' death at the beginning of the meeting. And I've been in contact with some of the family members, and it's my understanding they will be establishing a scholarship fund in support of his two children that are in college, and they're going to be announcing it hopefully within the next week. So if you want to figure out how you can be supportive of him in his work, and he was an amazing young man, only 50 years of age, I believe. So he leaves behind a wife and two children. Be looking out for that, and you can support him and his family through that effort. And that is the end of my report. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Fields. And next, Mr. Wilson.
Thank you, Madam Chair. And just to be clear, before Ms. Reynolds puts my name on any program, I'm out. I'm out of the lip sync contest.
Don't worry, 2022, we're coming for you.
Yeah, yeah.
I guess it gives me time to prepare.
There you go.
I have no report. Thank you, Madam Chair.
All right, thank you, Mr. Wilson. Ms. Miller?
Hi, I have really quick items. I feel like we take way too much time when we have the public here, but two things. One, the Kiwanis of Lakeland, we're stuffing the bus. So if you see the big boxes, whether it's in Badcock or Lakeland Electric or around the city, make sure you drop off items for our students. And if you'd like to join us at 7 a.m., Sarah Beth, right outside of the radio station right there at RP Funding Center, or what was RP Funding Center, it still is, okay. 7 a.m., August 4th, you can help us unload all the boxes and actually get the supplies to the elementary schools here in Lakeland. So it's important that we help out where we can. So Stuff the Bus is a big Kiwanis event. I just want to quickly mention Damian Moses. I'll tell you my experience with him. I came in really late to the whole Polk County District, Lake Wells District, whatever that was, and Moses and I saw things a lot eye to eye. I would take students and families who another charter school I won't name may not be able to serve, and I would take them to Bach Academy, and he would tour us and show them what they were doing. He was very open to the community and what was happening there. He believed in kids. He didn't get caught up in all of the politics and bureaucracy that this job really can have, because he was there for children, and I appreciate what he's done and the legacy he leaves behind. It breaks my heart. He is a very young man at 50. And so there will be a celebration of life at the high school in the gymnasium this Saturday. So if you go to their website or their Facebook page, I think you can find information. You can join. It will be live streamed for those who can't attend but would like to be a part of that service. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Miller, and thank you for the update on Mr. Moses. I appreciate that. Okay, so I have a short report, so I'll be very quick. Superintendent Hyde, we welcome you and your family to Polk County. We're very excited for what we're seeing as your remarkable leadership, your exceptional communication skills, and the vast knowledge and experience that you bring. We look forward, all of us, to working with you to take our school district to the next level. And once again, we welcome your beautiful wife, Patty, your son, Freddie, and your mom, Miss Chester. We're glad that they could be here tonight to celebrate with you. Thank you. I, too, want to say a couple thank yous. First of all, we had a vacancy in the board office for our executive assistant, and our executive secretary, Miss Linda Baldick, was gracious enough, and you can put your hand up and wave. She was gracious enough to step into those shoes and be there for me as chair to help me along the way when we didn't have anybody in the office. So, Miss Linda, I thank you. You took the time and the energy and always made sure everything that I may have asked or needed or communication to the board, and you were always there for me. And I just want to say thank you so much. It really means the world to me that you were so kind and gracious. And Linda will then return as our executive secretary, and we have now filled the executive board assistant with Miss Yvette Vega. If you'll raise your hand, Miss Vega. And yes, woo! We're excited to have you on board tonight. The board formally voted to have you join our wonderful team. And as I've told the ladies here, because Yvette has been in the superintendent's office, so she's moving from there to the board office. And as I've always said, we are a team and we work together, and we understand that there'll be some transition time, but we're willing to work together to make that work positively. So we look forward to welcoming you officially on Monday, August the 2nd. And the good news is that they were able, the superintendent's office was able to fill her position, and that's why she's able to come on board so quickly. So we're very excited for that. We wish you the best. We welcome you as part of this crazy team. And we're 7 different personalities, but we have one thing in common, and that's what is best for our kids. So you'll find that about all of us. And last but not least, as I mentioned, we are a family. We are 7 different board members coming from 7 different backgrounds and educational experiences. And when one of us celebrates, we all celebrate. And we have one of us amongst us, Miss Sarah Beth Reynolds, who recently got engaged. And I would like to say congratulations to you and Derek on behalf of your board family. We're very happy for you and excited. I don't think I know the wedding date, so you might have to help me out.
October 23rd. So
Yay.
very soon.
So will you join me in congratulating Miss Reynolds on her recent engagement? And that concludes my report. Yay. So the next item on our agenda is public comments addressing items not specifically on the agenda tonight. And I do have a group of individuals that have signed up to speak. So if you'd be so kind and come forward as I call your name. The first person is, and I'm not going to say this right, is it Christy McCullough? Did I say it right? Okay, dear. And after Christy, we'll have Stephen Elias.
Christy McCullough, Winter Haven, Florida, 19-year veteran teacher. I'm speaking about something that everyone tells me I don't need to speak about, but I'm going to do it anyway.
Okay.
So in May, I started being concerned when masks were waived, and parents that were concerned about their kids' health started talking. We experienced e-learning last year. At that time, the district said no e-learning, so I didn't worry about coming. But we see what the numbers are going. We hear the parents that are concerned about their kids' health. So again, I'm told again that by several people that I trust and totally believe, there's no e-learning. And the state's not doing it and so forth. But in my experience with both the district and the state, when enough people complain, things change. So I'm just concerned. Last year, I sat on a task force. We said we would not do e-learning. Would not. Parents complained. They wanted their kids safe, but they wanted their kids in their magnet school or their special program. So we did e-learning, but we would not do hybrid. Not. And then we would only do it on very special cases. But when you have most of the elementary schools in the county that are hybrid, that's not a special case. Algebra 1, not a special case. So, right now we're at the point, again, with the numbers going up, the state has not approved e-learning, probably not going to have it, but we don't know what the future is going to hold. So as you go with this, the problem with e-learning is it's really impossible to create a schedule that allows true e-learning to teachers dedicated to e-learning. We gave 2 extra weeks last year, can't be done, especially middle and secondary. And even elementary schools have special academies and programs and unique things. So I'm not saying this because of the extra work. I'm saying this because it just didn't work. Our kids in front of us were shortchanged. They did not get our attention. We could not go help them because we were tied to the computer. So we're stuck with that. And if we think that technology is the answer, I was talking to a person that teaches at a very expensive private school in Orlando. It costs $40,000 a year to send your kids to school. Parents invested in this. And she was talking about how in biology her kids were behind. The next year they were not going to be able to pass the AP exam. They were so behind. And we're talking, and I find out that she has a large TV screen on her back wall that all of our Zoom kids are projected on, so she can stand in the front and see every kid. She's got a microphone and a camera that follow her around every motion so she can teach like normal. Every student in the room had a computer on their desk so they can do exactly the same assignment that her kids did. And she didn't get as much done. She wasn't ready for the next year. And so we can't do that. And so just a note, we've got to do something for the quarantine kids. It's gonna happen. But please, please don't bring back e-learning. That's just my thing.
Thank you, dear. Stephen Elias, and then John Ruffin.
Good evening.
Good evening.
I have some handouts. Is it okay if I pass them around?
Sure. Or if you just give them to Linda, right there, she can pass it to the board. Save a little bit of time.
Okay, so good evening. My name is Steve Elias. I'm here tonight following up on, I received notifications in June about vaccine pop-up clinics in our county. And I sent you all individual emails regarding my concerns for safety for vaccinating our kids. So since then, I've learned that although our county is receiving large amounts of money to implement the vaccination to our children, there's little to no safety data or collection that's going on to review adverse impacts to our kids, with little to no discussion on with the parents whether or not we should be doing this for our kids. As a parent, I shouldn't have to dig this hard to find this data, but I'm going to rattle off some quickies for you. This vaccine has only got emergency use authorization with the assumption that there were no available treatments. So we're essentially all participating in a big experiment, okay? We all realize that. By design, according to the vaccine makers, this will not protect you from contracting or transmitting COVID to other people, this vaccine. So just know that. Coincidentally, disturbingly, the countries in the world right now that are most highly vaccinated are leading the world right now in new COVID outbreak cases. The trials, well, first of all, Johns Hopkins notes that of the 335 kids around the country that have died from COVID, which is about 7 per state, by the way, all of them had serious underlying conditions like leukemia. So I would be real interested in Polk County if the number is greater than 0. How many kids in our county have died from COVID? And I'd like to know that number. Vaccine trials. Typically, if more than 50 people die from a COVID vaccination, they shut the program down. When I sent the email to you all about a month ago, it was 4,500 deaths, 4,500. Now it's over 11,000. In case you're not, worse yet, in case you're not aware of it, last week a federal government whistleblower has come forward with a sworn affidavit saying she's got data showing that the federal government is keeping from the public 450,000 deaths within 3 days of getting their vaccine shot. 400, I don't know, that's multiple times Tampa Bay Stadium there, so that's a big number. Some quotes from some subject matter experts. 37 seconds. We need another meeting on this because, so bottom line is we rely on you all to protect our kids. I implore a discussion on this topic before we continue rolling this vaccine and supporting it as a school board. We rely on you just like the sheriff's office back here to protect us. We need to make local decisions on the safety of this vaccine. We need to have a conversation about this. I just greatly implore you to do this. I'd love to rattle off some of these quotes. Please read that and please follow up with me. I would love to have a follow-up discussion and have others involved in this.
Thank you, sir.
Good evening, august board members. My name is John Ruffin. I'm the president of the Concerned Citizens of Polk County Incorporated and the president of the Concerned Citizens of Florida Incorporated. It is with great pleasure that I come here tonight to actually welcome our esteemed leader, new leader at the helm of the school district and his family, Mr. Hyde, and we're so pleased that he's here. been on the job barely a month and has been asked to tender his resignation and has had one problem after another. But I'm so thankful that many of the board members really supported him and advocated him during his little scenario. But we are so pleased to have Mr. Hyde here. Mr. Hyde has been portrayed and depicted as a visionary leader, and I believe that. I had an opportunity to dialogue with him, and he shared with us a very comprehensive plan for the district. And so we know that he's going to do great things, and we need to support him. Historically, there have been a faction of people whose job description has been to create havoc for superintendent positions. Part of the reason I believe that his predecessor left was because of some of the flack that she was getting, and that's what precipitated her tendering her resignation on a premature basis. But we want to keep Mr. Hyde. He has demonstrated in the short time that he's been here that he has the competencies, the skill set, and the credentials to take this district to a new level. He's an engineer of this district train. I already have my ticket. So what I'm encouraging you all to do is to get your ticket. Naysayers as well. Get your ticket and get on board. You're welcome to join and get on this train. All is welcome, because we don't know where we're going, but we know that he's going to take us to heights to places that we would just love. So he's going to do a great job. So let's support him.
Yes.
Let's support him. Let's not criticize him. Let's support him. And it would be robbery of me not to acknowledge quickly Mrs. Fields. I would like to pay homage to her because she's done a great job. Most people really don't know what her job entails. She's done a great job over at Girls Inc. She's been a tour de force over there. How she empowers those girls over there is unbelievable. She's taken girls with behavior problems and modified their behavior and turned them around. Incredible job, Ms. Fields. I admire the job that you've done. Let's support our superintendent. Let's support our superintendent. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Ruffin. Next, we have Reverend Howard A. Mathis, and after him, Dr. H.B. Holmes.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Honorable Board and the new superintendent, Mr. Hyde. I came out to also just welcome Mr. Hyde. I was in a forum with them on last week, a few days ago. I don't know how long ago it's been, but anyway, Mr. Hyde, you said some things that I can really appreciate, that you're going to be a superintendent for all of the children here in Polk County. You recognized deficiencies when it come down to diverse issues here in the school system. That lets me know that you on the case. And you said that you had to submit a document to the state in regards to equity and diversity Tuesday. See, that lets you know I was listening to you. However, there is another document, federal one, that I probably be emailing you about, that I think we need to do some things, because what you indicated from what you saying the numbers were, we kind of out of compliance with the unitary status and that 20-year-old settlement decree. So again, we welcome you to Polk County, and we look forward to working with you and this wonderful school board that we have here. God bless you all.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. Is Dr. Holmes here? He had to leave. Thank you, sir. Next, we'll have Terry Coney. Is Terry here? And then Maureen Miller.
Good evening, School Board, Superintendent Hyde, I'm Terry Coney, 422 El Salvador Drive, Lakeland, Florida. I'm the president of the NAACP Lakeland branch, and I'm also a member of the Boundary Board Committee for the school board, plus a number of other hats that I wear. But I'm just coming today to, I've already welcomed Superintendent Hyde. We're about to go into a new school year, so I just want to thank you all for the tough job that you have. And with that, as a community, we need to support you. Just like you all need to be cheerleaders, we all need to be cheerleaders for Polk County Public Schools. And just listening to the support staff that came up here earlier, they're definitely needed, just like our teachers. So you all are in charge or have oversight of a big train or like a roller coaster at Disney World. But in order for all those wheels to turn, they all need oil. So it's up to you to figure out how to make sure the support staff is taken care of, because if they're not happy, then our kids don't get where they need to be. In a week or so, we don't want to see kids on the side of the road with no buses picking them up. Plus, we also want to see teachers in the classroom. I saw a very unfortunate statement in the paper a week or so ago about a young lady. She was the salutatorian at Turner Rock High School. And she stated that most of the school year she never had a permanent math teacher. Now, we want our school system to be a quality school system. But if we don't have teachers in the classrooms, we don't have support staff taking care of the things they need to, then we're not going to have that. My organization, we support education. We truly do. Any function that we put on is in support of education. I was raised by educators. I have a sister that taught for 39 years. I have the education chair for my education committee and several other members of our education committee. And they're working right now to put together a solid plan to help the community show them the importance of education and educating the kids. And that doesn't just mean the kids, it also means the parents. Because the parents have to be aware of the things they need to do, especially starting from K going through 12, because those years go by fast. So just want to let you know, you have our support. We've always been pro-education, and we will continue to be pro-education, regardless of what some may think. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Ms. Miller, and then Jill Dorsett.
Hi. Maureen Miller. I live in Solovita, so right on the border. I'm here, I speak as the daughter of one of the first professors of educational administration in the country. So I don't come from a non-knowledgeable background on this. Just want to express, welcome Superintendent, but many of us are disappointed in your immediate participation in the Critical Race Theory Forum, a theory that is divisive at best. And frankly, the responses we've been getting from school board members that we have emailed, basically telling us you appeared simply to say that it's not being taught at Polk County. We don't really know what was being said. Presumably, every time there's a forum on something that Polk County is not teaching, you won't be appearing. I will just say, and then we were being told about cultural responsive teaching. Lovely. I will just say again, my father started the Native American education program back in the 70s. So it's lovely, but it's not really the newest thing. School districts have been doing this for years and years, just not with the pretty terms. I mean, I think it's great, and let's keep it up. I can remember as a student in the 70s, Vietnamese students new to the country being given special attention from the school districts. Shamefully, some of us would teach them four-letter words. But again, welcome Superintendent Hyde. We just hope that going forward, maybe, I think your participation was well-intentioned, but a little bit of a mistake. But we support you all. I know you have a tough job. Thank you for your attention, and we're watching.
Thank you. Jill Dorsett. Jill Dorsett. And after her, Reverend Eddie Lake.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Jill Dorsett, address 122 East Main Street, Suite 262, Lakeland, Florida, 33801. And as our president said of the NAACP, Mr. Terry Coney, I am the education chair for the Lakeland branch NAACP. I am a former elementary, middle, and high school principal in districts in Florida as well as in Georgia. And I was a history major at the University of Florida, so I know a little bit of something about history. I taught history at Lawton Childs Middle Academy. I was on the inaugural staff there. And I also taught history at Kathleen Junior High School before becoming an inaugural staff member at Kathleen Junior High School. So I was one of those teachers when the state of Florida passed a 1994 legislative mandate, Statute 1003.42. That was back in 1994. And I can only imagine how far we would be if all of the teachers had taught the class as it should have been back then. It was a very time-consuming process of my own time, taking that textbook, doing my own research because I didn't learn African American history when I was in high school. And furthermore, it's not something that should wait until college to be taught. This is so serious that our history, we're all Americans, yet the textbooks are not inclusive of the good, the bad, and the ugly of America's history. History is history, no matter what happened, and it must be taught so that all children feel valued and a part of our society. So that's the whole part of it. It's not to preach hate and racism, but it's certainly not to ignore any part of America's history that was not pleasant. Really important. So for those of you who are disappointed with our superintendent for participating in the panel last Thursday, I would advise you, or encourage you rather, to watch the forum. It is online. You can go to the NAACP's Facebook page and watch it. He was there, like most of us, to learn what is it, what it is not, and what is all of the hoopla, whatever the term we use, fuss is all about. And so he learned a lot. We learned together. And if we're going to change the spirit of education, then we need to, all of us, we need to be engaged in that conversation and learn about what it is. Okay, and courageous conversations, simply courageous conversations. Don't be afraid. Thank you.
Thank you. Reverend Lake and then Dawn Brown.
Good evening, board members. Good day to each and every one of you. Eddie Lake, Senior Pastor, New Bethel AME Church here in the beautiful city of Lakeland. Also serve as the president of the Interdenominational Ministerial Alliance Incorporated. And I'm here today just to welcome Mr. Hyde. Thank you for your service. I also served on the search committee, and it was a unique pleasure. I want to say to all of the board members, I appreciate all of you and all the work you do, because what you do is not easy at all. And I pray for you. And I want to say definitely to Mrs. Fields, God bless you. 50 years celebration of your service and ministry to the community. It's absolutely marvelous that you can celebrate this moment. And so I'm praying for you that God will continue to use you to make a difference. And let me say to this community regarding critical race theory, we simply want to see the truth being taught. That's what it's all about. And if we can't handle the truth, then we all have a serious problem. I want to say to the community also, I joined Mr. Ruffin in saying I have my ticket, and I'm on board to support Hyde. I'm on board to support this school board. I'm on board to support our educators. I'm on board to support these workers that were here begging for support. And I ask that you really consider helping them to meet their needs. And so I pray for you. I appreciate you. I love you. And I want you to do your very best for our children, because this is what it's all about. Stand up for truth, and you will be amazed at the joy that comes at the blessings that comes, as the camaraderie that comes as a result of us embracing truth. Whether we agree with it or not, that's irrelevant. Truth is truth. Whether we all believe it, it's true. Whether no one believes it. And that's what I stand to say today. Again, welcome and thank you for your service. Let's do this together. We can do more together than we can do independent of each other. And I guarantee you, as we work together, this school district will be the school district that it's supposed to be. This is a great school district. I've already had one graduate who's at FAU right now, got a 9th grader at George Jenkins, and I look for this next 4 years that I can be an empty nester, but I need all of you and the community to work together. Let's do this. Get your ticket, get on board, and stand up for truth. Whether you like it or agree with it or not, it's still truth.
Thank you, sir. Mr. Don Brown, and then Christy Richa. Richa?
Afternoon, good evening.
Good evening, sir.
My name is Don Brown. For those of you who don't know, you will know shortly. I want to thank my pastor who came before me because he knows I'm sort of militant sometimes. I want to congratulate our new superintendent, and for those of you who have been around me any length of time know that I've always supported superintendents. For many, many years, I've always advocated for superintendents. One even hired me, looked out for me. Now, what I'm here to talk about is the fact that we had a legislator in another county from which I am from attack board members and the superintendent. Threatened to try to have you all removed if you all didn't vote to get rid of the superintendent who just got here. Now, to me, that's treading on, home rule. You're not going to be someplace else and tell me what to do in my house.
Amen.
That's not going to happen. If I'm going to be the one talking about it, that's fine, but you're not coming into my house telling me what to do. Now, as far as this critical race theory, I'm black, been black for about 70-some years plus. Nothing gonna change that. So if you don't want to hear about what you put me through, you shouldn't have done it in the first place. Just the real facts. Now, I don't care if you don't like what I say. When I came to Polk County, I didn't have but 2 nickels. Y'all messed around and let me get 2 dimes. You're in trouble now. Understand that. We're going to talk about what happens when you have not treated us right since we've been in this country. Now, don't try to hide from it. Don't tell me what to put in the textbook. Don't tell me how to teach, because what you all don't understand, everything that I'm saying is televised. It's on the internet. Someone tweeting and doing all kinds of things. So even if you don't teach it in the classroom, you need to understand 90 to 95% of everything each one of us has learned was not in the classroom. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Brown. Christy Richa? Christy? No? Okay. Bill Young? Is Bill Young here this evening? I am present. Awesome. Come on forward. And then Bernita Gigowski.
Good evening. Thank you for allowing me to speak. Commissioner, I understand you're from Illinois?
No, I'm actually from Miami, Florida.
Oh, are you?
Yes.
My mistake. I heard wrong. I want to speak on 2 things. First of all, I want to say that I was glad to hear earlier that you removed the mask mandate for the children. I think that anybody would be well served to read a book called Plague of Corruption by Judy Mikovich,
who is a scientist and worked at the CDC and worked with Mr. Fauci. I think you'd find it very enlightening. Second thing I want to speak to is the teaching of critical race theory. Let me be clear. I do not condone racism in any form against anyone. I am a historian, a person who loves history. I'm a historian. There are many good things and many bad things in the American past. But the thing that bothers me about the teaching of critical race theory, the way it is set up to be taught, is it teaches that there are people who are victims, and then there are other people who are oppressors. And when you teach children that they are either a victim or an oppressor, you're teaching children that they are to hate. And I don't agree with that. I will give you a real life example. My oldest daughter is white. Her husband is black, my son-in-law. They live in Rochester, New York, where critical race theory will be taught. My daughter and son-in-law had a daughter almost a year ago. And as she grows up and she's taught this, she will be taught that her grandfather is white, so he is a male and an oppressor. How can I have a relationship with my granddaughter if she is taught I am an oppressor and no good? I don't want to take away from anybody's pain or anguish, but I don't think instilling more pain and anguish on top of it serves the better of any of us. I care about people. I love people. Jesus Christ taught us to love, but not hate. That's all I have to say. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. Bernita Gigowski? Bernita, no? Okay. Bishop Mincy.
Because it's time for us to go. But I do want to say, welcome Mr. Hyde and to all of you, the board members. Truth be told, we are in trouble. Truth be told. Truth be told, the reason why some of the things that are happening is because of you 7 people. Some of y'all came late, some of y'all been here a while, so truth be told, truth is the only thing gonna set you free. I don't care what you say, truth will set you free. Some of you have been ugly and indifferent and everything else. Amen, and we just need to correct some stuff. Stop even trying to hide it, correct it. Acknowledge that you're wrong. When you acknowledge you're wrong, then you can go forward. You're gonna go backwards if you don't acknowledge you have done wrong. We don't want to tell the truth about the thing. These poor people, I heard them women and men crying for help. Let me tell you, get ready, Polk County. It's going to come to your house. And I told you all this the last time we were together. God is not going to allow you to continue to oppress the people. It won't work. Get ready. Mr. Hyde, get your group together, talk to them. Ms. Cunningham, your responsibility. You're the leader of the board. Get your stuff together. He will not allow you to do it. If he do it, he ain't God, and I know he's God. These people cannot continue to work for nothing. They cannot continue. It hurts me to my heart. Every time I've been here and I've heard these people crying, we need help, we need help, we need help. We're working. And I've heard, I wasn't here the last time, but y'all got a plan in your mind. You want to outsource. Don't outsource these bus drivers. These people done worked hard for years and have not been treated fair. It's wrong. Wrong is wrong and right is right. And I'm going to stand for right if I have to stand by myself. Amen. Because, let me tell you, you're trying to save a quarter and people are hurting. They need to be be cared about. And the main thing y'all need to understand is every one of you are a human, and these people out here crying are human beings, and they have feelings. Feelings. They feel just like you feel. You may have more than they got, but I can tell you one thing, you can lose everything you got in a flash. It can be gone tonight. You can lay down and not wake up. Not only that, but you can go everything you got, you'll get sick and die and leave every quarter you got here and somebody will blow it. So don't think you got everything made. Think about these poor people, these poor children, and everybody that's hurting, these women out here crying. Think about them and give them what's due to them and watch God bless this business.
Thank you. Karen Wetzel? Is Karen Wetzel here this evening? Daniel Kniger? Jimmy Nelson?
Good evening.
Good evening.
Jimmy Nelson, I reside in Lake Wales. Forgive my sunglasses, I left my other prescription glasses in the vehicle. Not trying to look cool. I'm here because I'm appreciative of this board this evening, and I want to let you know that. There are times for robust discussions, and I've had robust discussions with several of you. I appreciate you entertaining those. I'm here to say that one of those robust conversations was too robust. And if you'll indulge me, it warrants a public apology, and that public apology is directed to Mr. Wilson. So I offer that this evening. I appreciate the action that you took during the workshop today. I appreciate you entertaining Attorney Jeff Childers. I appreciate the time that you gave him. I appreciate the follow-up clarification question that you asked. I appreciate you allowing him to send that in to you. That was a crucial question. Ms. Miller asked a critical follow-up. Appreciate that. Mr. Bridges, appreciate your clarification on all of that. Ms. Reynolds, I appreciate you going back to July of last year when your recommendation to this board was that the mask mandate should be handled under an emergency action. I believe that that is true, and that now will be the case once the policy is rescinded. That's a key thing, and I appreciate all of that. I appreciate Mr. Hyde's recommendation to that effect. I appreciate the red ribbon that Ms. Cunningham wrapped around it. It was a very good clarifying statement that you made it clear for exactly what was happening and the significance of that. So thank you all for what happened during the workshop today. Thank you for coming to consensus for action. I also want to say that after having opportunity to meet with Mr. Hyde on a couple of occasions, the early results are you made a good decision. I want to thank you for that. I appreciate very much the line of communication that has been established. It's very meaningful. It facilitates cooperation. It facilitates success. It facilitates collaboration, and that means a great deal. We appreciate that. Appreciate that very much. Finally, I appreciate all the chairs that are in this room this evening. It's wonderful to see this room full of chairs and full of constituents, and I'm glad that we're heading in that direction. It was one of the things Mr. Hyde and I spoke about, probably has spoken with others about that as well, and it's great to see. It's a good day, and I appreciate what's happened here today. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Nelson. Okay, that concludes our portion of the public comments. Yes, go ahead. Please, come on up. Ms. Jenkins?
Heather Jenkins, I live in North Lakeland. I'd like to address a public comment that was made earlier. I did text what she said I text to my significant other, but it was followed by an "as they should be." Not the most appropriate language, but My significant other's a welder, and he works in really hot conditions and in sometimes not so good places for low wages. So that's what I tell him he needs to do. My father was an electrician. My grandfather was a custodian in the school system and in the hospitals. So I want to publicly apologize for that. One, I shouldn't be texting in a board meeting, and two, I'm sorry for how it made our AFSCME employees feel, because they are worth far more than we can give them, and it's really hard to work on salaries when you're in the finance division, and when you don't have funding coming in. So in my own household, we deal with that when we talk as a family, and I give advice to him on what he needs to do in his workplace. So I'd like to apologize to our AFSCME team. I'd like to apologize to you, the board, and I'd like to apologize to our superintendent.
Thank you, Ms. Jenkins. That was very kind of you this evening. Okay, seeing no one else, I didn't have any other cards for any speakers to speak.
Madam Chair?
Yes, Superintendent.
Madam Chair, just a point, and not to belabor the conversation this evening, but I know that there were some who expressed both support and concern due to my recent participation. And I think it's really important that I continue to demonstrate who I am as a man, as an educator, as a leader, and someone who's focused on our school district. And I shared this with the board. I was very direct with the board as to who I am, my personality, because if you recall, I said I was interviewing you as much as you were interviewing me, and that you would never turn around and question whether or not the same individual who sits before you or operates our school district is the same individual you interviewed. You have two choices in this world. You can build bridges or you can build walls. And quite frankly, my position on certain topics is largely irrelevant. My position on all things is that all students will achieve and attain at a high level. Whether you agree with my participation in the critical race theory discussion, what needs to be reiterated here yet again was, my position simply was, if we tell our community we do not teach critical race theory, then they have every right in a community that over 50% of our students are minorities to question, then what exactly do you do to support children in our schools? That is my purpose. That is my focus. And so I'm sorry for those of you who are disappointed. Quite frankly, I would ask you to embrace the fact that I, in a very short period of time, am willing to take on very difficult conversations and topics, and I will not cower, I will not hide, and I will not run. It is important for us to address issues and come to consensus and understanding of each other's positions, our own frustrations, and how ultimately it impacts our school district. And so I'm proud of the fact that I stood there, and I'm proud of the fact, and thank you for everyone who spoke in favor, and thank you to those of you who shared concerns tonight, because it afforded me the opportunity to clarify my position on this. My position at the end of the day is how do we best support our students, and as we discussed, if you watched the workshop, I cited some of the very same data that I shared at that forum. We have a long way to go for all children in our community, all. And all does mean all. We have to create better opportunities for equity. We are a nation that's struggling. Let me limit it to gender instead of race to help exemplify what I'm talking about. We know that nationally we have fewer women going into STEM, engineering, and science professions. We have an obligation to encourage that to happen. And so at the end of the day, we will support all learners to the greatest extent possible and eliminate all barriers to their potential success. I will continue to emphasize and focus on those areas, and if that is not what Polk County Public Schools wants, then I will accept that. But that is my position on these topics. And I'm appreciative of all of our community partners who have extended an opportunity for me to come meet with them and talk about the hard topics, talking with each one of our municipalities about how frustrated they are, about how they feel like they've been left behind at times. They're frustrated about the lack of resources, the status and quality of their schools. You've heard staff share their frustrations with salaries. This is what I'm walking into 3.5 weeks on the job. And I am very much on the job and working hard, and I'm truly dedicated to solving as many of these issues as quickly as possible. And I have a strong, dedicated team around me, and I'm very much appreciative of the support from our board. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Thank you, Superintendent Hyde. Once again, I'll say thank you for your leadership. Okay, at this time, the next order of business, board members, is adjournment. There being no further business, this meeting of the Polk County School Board is now adjourned. Please drive safely, and thank you for your attendance.